Good morning, Facebookers, my Facebook awesome family. So happy to be with you this morning, inviting you back to day 2, Robbed by Trauma. So happy to be discussing trauma. Yes, I am, because we get an opportunity to mitigate, to lessen, to make disappear some of the aspects of our trauma personas, which I talked about during the first part of this session that I did on Monday. So if you are back in the space ready to rock, welcome, welcome, welcome Zoomers into the space. Thank you for being here, family. And you all are my family. I'm so grateful that I get a chance to have these chats with you, to co-create in a powerful way, the opportunity to explore these challenging subjects, to really look at ourselves, how bold and beautiful you are because you engage in this every day. Sign up for your transformation, sign up for a deep dive into who you are and how you are. So Tiff, we have you're taking care of it. There's an image that's up, thank you. So please do grab pen and paper because there's an element that involves teaching and guidance. We're not taking that shit seriously. This is just, to support you in negotiating your day-to-day, to be present to the people, the personas, the entities that live within you, because we're just that dope, right? We can get to create a whole new way of being for our own survival. And I want to flip that so that we can thrive inside of the existence of these low vibrational aspects of ourselves so that we can find high vibrational opportunities to be with them and to integrate them so that life can be more powerful. So if you're just joining the space, grab some water, grab pen and paper. I have my water over here. It's full to the brim. I have to open it up. Let me see if y'all can hear me bust this open. No sound. It's not like soda. All right, so I'm busting that open so I can drink from this as I talk with you. Let me take a swig of my water. If you got some, do that. I wish I had a glass, but I'm doing this street style, like, taking it to the head. All right, and I need more for sure because I just got up not too long ago. So welcome. Thank you. This session, if you don't know, may contain some triggers for you. We're going to be talking about trauma, and I'm going to go over some definitions and lay some foundation before we go deep into the conversation. But just know some things such as feelings, thoughts, somatic responses, and that's just a big word to say that your body is going to be responding, reacting to the conversation. So ready yourself for that. I have my blanket on my lap, so if I need to self-soothe, this is the way to go for me. So encouraging you to use whatever you need to use. If you need to rub something, if you need to smell something, light your incense while we're playing the opening song, which we're about to do. You can just grab something to support you on your journey in the next 45 minutes or an hour. I'm not sure how this is going to go. It's not going to be 30 minutes for sure, but get it together, get what you need, and here we go. And nothing's wrong, family. Or nothing's wrong. Just waiting for things to boot up in the system. Intro, all is well.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning, we're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
Hey, I love that we start with that song every morning. For those of you who don't know, my daughter, my younger daughter, Jasmine, is the composer and the creator of the video and the song, a singer, an artist, a videographer, a photographer. Just grateful to have her and grateful for her continuing to use her gifts. So here we are with part 2 of Robbed by Trauma. Thankful to all of you for being here. Wanting to ask you again, just like I did on Monday, if there's someone that needs to be in this conversation, someone that is a friend, a family member, someone that is normally in this community, gathered with us, co-creating these sessions, please do remind them, please do invite them, please do send the link. And if they're new to the space, yes, Joyce, you're Nisi. If they're new to the space, just remind them to register so they can be in the Facebook page and they can get e-blasts about this session. We want to always keep growing in these conversations and have community members join us each and every day so that we can expand as a village and a tribe. So Tiff, if you can put up the slide number 1 for the session, and we can continue from our conversation the other day. Looking forward to that. And while we wait on it, if you were here in the space the last time, just put yes in the chat. So I'll know if you were in the space on Monday, hanging with us, just put yes in the chat. No pressure or anything. Some of you are just stretching, rolling in the bed, still like your face like pushed into the pillow. Is all good. Thank you, Denise, for being here on day 1. I know I saw some of you. Thank you, Abin Bolam, Joyce, Zakia, all of the awesome wonders that were here in the space on Monday for part 1 of Robbed by Trauma. So here we are in part 2. And we have a quote for today. Trauma comes back as a reaction, not a memory. Trauma comes back as a reaction, not a memory. So I'm going to make reference to this as Bezel van der Kolk's quote from the book, The Body Keeps the Score. So if Charmaine or Tiff can put that in, the name of the author, and it's in the slide deck, so you can pull that and drop it in so folks can read that book. Some folks have already read it, are familiar with it. So just, you can go back to it. It's a read that you want to keep going back to. And if you've never heard of it, you can check it out so that you can learn how your body responds to trauma. And I say, because it's so dope, right? Just wired for stimulus. So take a moment to reflect and share about this quote. Drop it in the chat. What comes up for you as you see this image, and then also read the quote? I don't have that section in there. See the image, there's not a concrete, this is more abstract, but when you think about the image and the quote, trauma comes back as a reaction, not a memory. What comes up for you? Drop that in the chat. And I would love to hear from at least one person, because we have a lot of ground to cover this morning, and we'll, hear from others, but we're going to just build this out over time. So please, please, please drop in the chat. Tiff, let me know what you see. Trauma comes back as a reaction, not a memory. What does that mean, fam? What does he mean?
They are still thinking and letting it manifest in them and roll around in them.
All righty, y'all do that. I'm going to be over here doing what I do, which is holding space. We're at 27 awesome wonders in the space. Let's keep bringing folks in, because we need to transform this. Not because anything's bad or wrong, but I want y'all to be strong and authentic and present to your calling for life. And when we're in trauma persona mode, we don't always get to do that. All right, so anything, Tiff?
Yep, the chat is awake.
All right, awesome.
So we have John Carl saying triggers activate trauma. Lori says the physical reaction returns. when you think about it, Noni
Okay,
says the reaction is also a body memory.
thank you.
Denise says she relives it.
Thank you. And I want to point to something. Someone mentioned thought, right? And I love that Noni mentioned bodily reaction. So it's in the body. In the book, The Body Keeps the Score. That it talks about that, like the body keeps it, it holds it. When we're in the last session, and I hope Florence is coming, whomever knows Florence, please invite her back, because she was in the session last time and she talked about her liver erupting, being damaged, having to have surgery. And then also, as I talked with her, she spoke about the fact that, I intuited that there's a lot of family drama, a lot of holding, a lot of trying to control and negotiate what's going on with other people. And the liver holds fear. Well, the kidneys hold fear, the liver holds, it helps us to metastasize toxic energies. And if you're not processing, if you're holding, you are poisoning your liver and not allowing it to do what it needs to do to release. So she had that incident and that circumstance, and it ties to what is happening here. And I'll say one more thing about this, that trauma comes back as a reaction out of memory. Family. We often don't go back. You don't go back like, I'm in this moment yelling at my child. I'm enraged. Spit is flying out my mouth. I'm about to hit my child. You don't go back. You look, you know what? I'm doing this because when I was 3 years old, Uncle Juju slapped me in my face and knocked me to the ground. And then when I got up, my nose was bleeding. You don't go back to that space. You just react in the moment. So trauma comes back as a reaction, not a memory. You don't go back and rehash and go through the filing systems. You're in that moment, having the reaction, doing what you're doing, either shutting down or engaged in what I will talk about later, which is the 4 phases of your trauma reaction: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. All right. So let's move forward. Thank you all. We're at 30 awesome wonders in the space. So grateful. Really quickly, trauma is a distressing, disturbing, or life-threatening event that impacts one's mental, physical, and emotional well-being. We were just talking about some of the physical, the mental, what I think is happening in the moment. Like I go into my, what do they call it? Cave person brain. There's another name for it. It's just not coming to me right now. But it's like going back to the brain setup or configuration when we were trying to fight for our lives every day. We didn't have clothes. We're running around naked, and we figured out how to use the fur from animals or use the environment to cover us up. But we're like in that constant mode, or we needed to be on high alert because there's something rustling in the trees that might attack us, a lion or some other animal that's trying to survive too. But in this modern time, we don't have lions, tigers, and bears jumping out. Now, people may act like that because remember, we talked about our trauma personas and how they show up when we were in the session on Monday. There's Florence. Welcome, welcome, Florence. However, that cave person brain, that lower brain functioning that we had just for survival mode isn't necessary for the lives that we're living now. So imagine just being always on alert all the time, waiting for something to jump off or somebody to jump out and grab you and get you and eat you. And there's no need to do that, right? So trauma reaction, trauma response, wired for trauma reaction doesn't serve us. And this is like an elementary explanation, but we don't need to go deep into this. This is not the purpose of this session. So let's move to the next slide. Keep inviting family. We want to all grow together. I went over this on Monday. There are different levels to individual trauma that we experience. What I didn't put up as the slide, I took it out, is that we go through trauma as a society, like we experience societal impacts, like the way people think, like racism, this historical trauma, like if you identify as Black, Indigenous, and as a person of color, or one of those or all of those, then you carry the history of being subjugated, enslaved, and that lived experience of your ancestors can infect and infest your body. So something that happened 300 years ago that was never processed, your great, 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 great grandmother's trauma is in your body, is in your DNA, and has been passed along. That's called epigenetics. So we experience acute trauma, which is the result of a single incident, a car crash, a fall. We are impacted by chronic trauma, repeated and prolonged exposure to traumatic experience, maybe living in a domestic violence household or being molested for several years over a period of time. We are impacted by complex trauma, complex meaning that there's multiple levels of trauma that we've experienced. And I would say most of us in this space have been impacted by this type of trauma, like complex trauma, exposure to the fall, exposure to the molestation, exposure to the domestic violence, exposure to the COVID reactions and people dying and all of these different circumstances. And it can have you here, this is an extra piece, feeling helplessness and feeling trapped because stuff has come at you in so many different directions, you don't even know where to process. So you may end up fighting all the time, in flight mode, running all the time, freezing, going into a state of paralysis, or fawning, going along to get along, putting your head down. You see me putting my head down. It's just like, whatever you say, honey, whatever you want to do, boss, and then just functioning in your life that way. And then there's vicarious trauma, repeated exposure or witnessing of other people's trauma that eventually becomes internalized as your own. So watching people in your neighborhood, I talked about this the other day, constant shootings and just different things like people fighting all the time, people in your next door neighbor in your house and in the housing complex are always fighting. You hear him hitting, yelling, whoever the person that's the perpetuator of the domestic violence, engaging in that with family members, with a partner, and you hear it all the time over years, and then you're soaking that in and taking that in, and it becomes a part of you. Yes, Florence, constant anxiety. Thank you. So let's move ahead if we can. Thank you, thank you. So these a deeper dive, an even deeper dive, and this is a light slide. So I just want to say that and acknowledge that some of you may have difficulty seeing it. So really quickly, I'll go over these, the 4 phases of our trauma reaction. So fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Some added another F for get, but I'm not going to unpack that right now. To me, that's a form of like freezing. It might be a derivative of fawning. It's like, they did this to me, but I'm just going to forgive and forget, move on. So, there's an overlap. So fight, temper and angry outbursts, right? Aggressive, dominates and controls others, demands perfection from others, pursues power and control, impulse decision-making, assertive, bullying, incessant criticizing and raging, right? So remember these trauma personas that we talked about before, that your trauma persona might be the fight-ish type. Mine is, right? So flight, feelings of panic and anxiety, workaholic, obsessive and or compulsive behaviors, always on the go and staying busy, over worrying. I'm like, over worrying? Worrying is bad enough. You over worrying? Damn. Perfectionist and overachiever, hyperactive, over analytical. You ever met folks like that? You don't think of it as flight. You're like, oh my God, they're talking about, stuff all the time. They're criticizing, well, that slide has an error in it. What's up with that? You think of that as maybe a form of fight, but it can be a form of flight. So it's like I'm all in my head about stuff. I don't allow myself to be fully present. Like I'm thinking about the slide rather than thinking about the content, which is about trauma, which I can get to look at myself, but I'm focused on how the slide looks and how too light it is and all that other stuff. This is what we do, some of us. Freeze, depression. Depression is a form of freeze. I acknowledge you folks who go into that. Remember, I said this is our gift to ourselves so that we don't have to deal with the constant inundation of the trauma and the scary ass stuff that is happening around us, right? So I acknowledge all of us for doing these things for our survival. I acknowledge us. Nothing wrong or bad, necessary for our survival until it's not, right? So dissociation, that's going away. Like in the movie Precious, if you saw the movie, she was dissociating. She would go away and she would go into these delusional fantasies about being a model and having a lover and just having this great life, when on the real tip, she had a mother that was like a raging bull every day, right? Attacking her, molesting her, doing all of this stuff. So she taught herself how to go away and how to generate. How powerful. that she was able to do that. Brain fog, can't remember, right? Avoids human contact, detached, struggle with making decisions, hibernating, like going to sleep. I have a client that I'm working with right now that checks out by just going into perpetual nap mode. Lifeless, feeling dead inside, feeling spaced out, isolation. Fawn, thank you, Laura, for sharing the brain fog. Fawn, people pleasing, codependent, has a hard time standing up for themselves or saying no, lack of boundaries, just anything goes, right? Oh, this hurts me when we have sex. You're not saying this is in your head, this hurts me, but I'm just going to let them keep going and doing what they want until, because I want them to be pleased, right? Avoids conflict, highly concerned with fitting in. Do they like me? Do they like me? Do you like me? Do they like me? Do you like me? Do they like me? So let's move forward. So we just talked about fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Those are part of our, the inner workings of our trauma personas, is ways that we create a being, a way of being, a way of doing in the world so that we can survive and thrive, right? We can thrive with these trauma personas. My trauma persona, the pit bull that y'all saw on Monday with the gnashing, sharp teeth and the saliva that bounces but never hits the ground, that smells like rancid garbage, that has that raspy, growly voice, right? That wears a vest. Dogs, they put them on the cute vests and, the little cute clothes. Like my trauma persona pit bull has on a vest with 2 9mm on the side. Not only do I have teeth to bite you and to rip skin away, I also have guns to shoot you and to maul you, and I do it all. I'm biting you while I'm shooting you. Ain't that some shit, right? It's crazy, right? So that's my trauma persona. And when we had the debriefing with the admin team the other morning, Kenyofu mentioned It, the clown, and I'm like, that clown was scary as hell. Who read the book? Who saw the movies or the series? Because they had a series a few years back. Then they did it another round, I think, another version of it. Who knows about It, the clown? Pennywise. This is Pennywise the clown. This clown is scary as hell. And when that mouth does things, it opens up wide. It has layers of teeth. It'll be talking to you, bringing a balloon, and then when you grab for it, it'll bite your damn head off, right? And then it morphs into other things. So, yeah, it's important for us to look at trauma personas that we bring into the world. So let me bring somebody into the space that was here last time that I did not speak to. So who wants to talk to me about your trauma persona? That means, for those who weren't here, the physical form that your trauma takes, right? And if you weren't here, it's like, what does the voice sound like? If it had a name, what would the name mean? Mine was Beastly Ass Beast. And I was like, I need to add an S, because I'm like, I like Babs. Let me find an S. I like Babs for my little crazy pit bull that's trying to kill everything and everyone, right? So who wants to work with me? Anybody have a raised hand, Tiff or Charmaine?
No raised hands yet.
All right, y'all know Noni said she would. All right, awesome. So bring Noni on. I want to hear about this persona.
Noni, you're going to join us with your boys. Come off mute, darling.
Hello.
Hi.
What will your question is? What would the persona look like? My trauma persona look like, right?
Yeah, you weren't with us. Were you with us on Monday?
No, I don't get a link. I don't get an invite every day, but I do know the time. And I've been having problems. I joined you all. This is probably my 3rd time, but I was looking for the Facebook page, and it's a lot of groups with the same name. So I need help.
All right. And I would venture to say that there's a little bit of your trauma persona talking now, right? But we're going to unpack it. We'll see. I could be wrong, but that's where I'm going with it. That there's something wrong, in this. It's like, oh man, I can't find my way. Oh my God, I didn't get the information, right? So I would like to walk you through this. Thinking about your trauma reaction. So fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. What is the one that you go to? My go-to is fight. Put up the dukes, right? I just laid out this whole piece around each of them and what they mean. What's your the one that gets activated the most?
Freeze.
Freeze. Thank you. So what does that look like?
You mean examples in my life?
Yes, ma'am.
Not to go into a long story, it looks like I grew up in foster care. So I went through a lot of foster homes, and I feel that sometimes finding my voice, or I didn't have a voice. And like you say, we still thrive because I was a team lead at Blue Cross, at a company, and I still continue to work and everything. But sometimes, as far as taking action, I don't know, I would say freeze as far as a character, someone frozen. I'm not, yeah.
Just walk with it. That I'm not sure is part of your trauma response. Do you get what I'm saying? You laid
Yes.
all of that out and then you're like, I'm not sure. You're very sure. You've been telling the story a long time. How long would you say you've been telling the story of what happened to you and you being in foster care? Not to say that that wasn't traumatic and it didn't have an impact on you, but how long have you been leading with that as an adult?
As far as you want to know my age, as far as an example of why I feel frozen, I do lead with that as the example of why I would say my reaction is freeze.
Okay.
I feel that it stems from that.
Okay. And my question was not why you feel frozen. My question is, how long have you been leading with, I was in foster care, and that is the reason why I ...
I guess often if I'm asked, like, I guess, I looked at the question as example. I see you saying the question was a sample when I freeze.
No, actually it wasn't. So I'm going to ask that you consider that part of your trauma persona has you, would you say you freeze? But I would say there's a form of flight too, where there's not a full presence to what is being said, that when you're starting to talk about things that have happened to you, you're not fully present in the moment. So your trauma persona is physically there, but not there, goes away. It shuts off pieces and parts of the brain that process and allow you to be able to speak and engage in a conversation that you're over here inside of yourself, instead of speaking out to the group or the individual that you're in from the space that they're requesting from you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Is it possible to show yourself, sis?
Not at this time in the AM, no.
You're like, not this time. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to look at the slide. Tiffany, if you can put it back up so that you can flesh out what your trauma persona is. I would prefer for you to be able to do this. Someone from Monday who actually has done that and maybe did some work over the time that we were away from each other over the last 48 hours can actually speak on this. So if you could check this out, and if it could be dropped into the chat, your trauma had a physical form. If it had a physical form, what would it be? Like this clown next to you? Mine is a pit bull with really sharp teeth. If your trauma had a name, what would it be, Noni? If your trauma had a voice, what would it sound like? If your trauma wore garb, clothing, what would it be? What would it wear? If your trauma had a slogan, a saying, a mantra, what would it be? Mine was, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. You will get it. I will come for you. I will rip you apart. I will shoot you in the head with words mostly, sometimes with fists, never with guns. I don't use that sort of weapon. But when I was younger, I would do whatever I needed to do to survive. And that included throwing things, grabbing things, whatever I needed to do. So Noni, I invite you and others who were not in the session last time to do this work. Screenshot it, look in the chat. Is it in the chat, Tiff, so we can move forward?
It will be as soon as I stop screen sharing. Afia had her hand up.
Thank you. All right, Afia, if you would.
Greetings. I apologize. I don't know what I look like. I'm getting ready for actually I could turn on the camera for a minute. I'm moving as I get ready for to get out. So I was here on Monday and I caught mine. I don't think it had a name, but it spoke in a growl fire was what felt right, like essence wise.
Mhm.
No clothing. My slogan was, I don't have time for that. And that's what I came with. Sorry, and I'm probably personifying it right now.
No, it's all right. And what makes you say that? Like, you said,
No, quickly. And at the moment, I'm actually multitasking. So I'm like, get it out, get it out. I got, putting my lunch in my bag and that sort of thing. So yeah.
got it. And so thinking about the four faces, fight, flight, like what you talked about, I'm not saying it's true. You just threw that out there in the space, that the doing, the overworking, the quick motion, the productivity can be part of the flight response to trauma. So what is that your go-to?
I thought mine was fight. I
Okay.
feel pretty ragey.
Mhm.
And yeah, so
Say more about that.
I don't know what let me know what, like, tell you like that what
Say more about,
can you clarify?
yes, fight. Please tell us.
Like my cat that I wanted to spank just now.
What you do?
I don't know. So that's sort of an example.
Okay, and say more, because the cat I see knocking stuff down. The cat is probably connected to your persona because they live with you. The animals act out like they owners, I think. But when you say that yours is fight, what does that look like? You just painted the persona. How does it act?
Like clenched fists, like thinking things that are dangerous and hurtful.
Like.
Okay, so full disclosure, I have a baby who's young. Like, I feel like I wanted to snatch up children if they wronged her, like that sort of thing. Like violent sort of that kind of thing.
Look at you, you're moving your body.
I'm trying to release it, but that's what swells up in me. My fist clench. I feel that sort of surge of power that could be forceful in potentially dangerous ways.
Got that. Thank you for your honesty. And I can relate to that. I remember a few months back, I kept seeing myself, and I realize now it faded too, Afia, that I kept seeing myself punching the wall. I kept seeing myself kicking things. I wouldn't do it. It was just a vision that I would get. And I'm like, what is going on? But I was still recognizing I was still grieving, and angry about some of the things that I've lost over the last couple of years, some of the people, places, and things that I've lost. And it was coming out in my mind. I'm a very visual person. So my trauma persona, Babs, right? That angry pit bull was like, you need to punch something. You need to hit something. You need to break something. Even though I didn't respond or react to it and allow it to lead me, it was still present. So drop in the chat, family, what one of your F's are, your main F, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and then also drop in some of the characteristics that your trauma persona demonstrates and has in the world so that you can get clear about that, because some of us are operating blind and we don't know, and that not knowing creates damage in the world for you, for other people. If you're a more a fawn orientated person, then you may be operating at the job, not speaking up, not allowing yourself to be fully expressed in reference to your ideas. Your trauma persona is like, they're going to think this is stupid. I don't want to make waves. I don't want to tell anybody else that I don't think this idea might work. So I'm just going to stay quiet. I'm going to stay disconnected from my true self and my authentic self so I can survive life. All right. So I'm going to thank you so much, Afia. Slow it down, breathe. All is well. So let's go to the next slide after the trauma persona slide. And if you need more support, this community is awesome. So ask the community in the Zoom space or on Facebook what this whole concept of trauma persona is. If you don't know, we're at 39. Let's get to 40 participants in this space. Invite somebody who's missing to join us so that we can hit 40. It's the one before that, Tiff. It's the questions about the trauma persona. Thank you. Love, love, love it. So what is it like being in relationship with your trauma persona? And I mean, meaning others being in relationship with it. So we're going to take some time to unpack this. What is it like being in relationship with your trauma persona? Like, what are people dealing with when they're inside of the fight, flight, freeze mode that you go into, or fawn mode that you go into? What is it like engaging in, for people to engage with beastly ass beasts, my trauma persona, right? I know what it's like, but I want to hear what it's like for folks to interface and interact with you. If Bianca's in the space, she said she was going to come this morning. I would love to talk with you because you had some epiphanies about your trauma persona. Tiff, let me know if she's here. If she's not, then we'll move on. But definitely, I want to talk to someone about this. But let's look at the questions first. So drop this in the chat. Who in your life is most acquainted with your trauma persona? Write the answer to that. Thank you, John Carl, for putting in your trauma persona and your fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode, like the dominant one. And who in your life is most acquainted with your trauma persona? I would say my son is most acquainted with mine. Thank you, Teresa Scott, son, daughter. Thank you for Jennifer sharing that. My mate and my son, Terry, great, great, great. Laura, my persona is freeze, fight, fawn. What's the dominant one, Laura? What's the one that shows up the most? What else, family? Who's most impacted? And Charmaine, you can bring in the Facebookers. Don't want to leave them out. My son, Laura Clark, Zakia, my daughter, lots of children. And I'm not surprised about that because we take most of our liberties with children. You know, when they are our own, it's like, oh, this is my child. I can do what I want. I don't have to be afraid of pushback. With my son, I don't have that luxury. Like, his trauma persona is fight. My trauma persona is fight. So there's like this face off when it comes to him, and it does not serve either one of us. It creates this depletion in my body. It creates this boulder in my belly. It creates this overthinking, running through the show, what I want to do. It creates the image of like, wow, I should choke him. I should knock him down. Like, that's what it creates when I'm not grounded. I step outside of myself and I go into my self-protective mode. And my mode is get them before they get you. My mode is you're not going to play me. And you know, you're the kid. Like, my mode is it's not fair. And so if it's not fair, I need to level the playing field. Can you go back, Tiff, to the previous questions? And so we're going to move to the next one. Thank you, Tiff. What is it? Fill in the word. And for those who are like over analytical, those, what do you call it? Flighters, please let it go. It's just a word. It's just a missing word. What is it like for them, meaning people, your people, a person or people, to be on the receiving end of the behaviors that your trauma persona exhibits? Just write a couple of words. What is it like for them to be on the receiving end? I would say scary as hell when beastly ass beast takes over. Scary as hell. And my beastly ass beast is not a female, it's male. It's a male persona. And when he takes over, sometimes it's not like the biting and the shooting. Sometimes it's the word assault, right? And it's not always cursing. It's how I place my words, how I'm talking, the level of intensity, my facial expressions. And so folks are like, is everything all right? Is everything all right? Is she mad at me? Is she going to come at me? So what is it like for folks on the receiving end of the behaviors that your trauma persona exhibits? Rigorous honesty, authenticity, family, tell the truth. If I asked your daughter, Zakia, what would she say? And I want you to be aware, because I have somebody that I was in an intimate partnership with, that their trauma persona was going into silence. They never raised their voice. They never raised a hand ever. You know, that ain't gonna happen because my beastly ass beast would have shut that down for sure. But just giving you a picture of it. But their trauma persona, the way it exhibited itself was passive aggressive, ghosting, not being responsible, accountable, not telling the truth when questions were asked, not showing up for things, saying I'll be there and not being there. Their trauma persona did damage, but it wasn't the typical damage of guns blazing, setting fires, kicking down doors. They were passive aggressive or passive passive. When I would engage them in conversation and want to talk about the conflict, I would say what I felt because I'm good at expressing myself and articulating where I come from on an emotional level, especially when I'm grounded, and they would be there in silence for extended minutes. And silence can be a form of violence. So for your fawners out there, those who go silent, don't say anything, you're like, well, I don't curse anybody out. I don't do this, I don't do that. That can be worse than somebody cursing you out, because at least you know where that person is coming from. When you just sit in silent and seethe and don't express yourself, that can create a lot of fear for the person on the receiving end. So your trauma persona also does damage. Don't get it twisted. So voices, shares. Let's hear from who's most acquainted, and then also what the behaviors, what it's like on the receiving end. So I see a hand up. Amal, you willing to share about those two things?
Oh, excuse me. You know what? It's interesting how everything just seems to that comes on here seems to, can you see me? Because I don't know what my, okay. Yes. I didn't realize when I was coming up that all this was playing out. And of course, the persons that got the most of it, and I didn't realize it, was my husband, and of course, my children. Now, what happened is that my husband said something to me, and I was going to, and this is recent because this was like 30 years we're talking about. He and I, no, 50, because my kids are in their 50s. So just last month, he said something to me, and it just startled me. I didn't realize what is going on? Why does he think that who I'm being is this and that? And it was like, I'm not explaining it well. What happened is that in my youth, when I first got married, I was operating out of, you are not going to best me. You are not going to be in control of me. And when it happened, I was the little witch. I visualized myself as the witch. My claws come out. And my tongue gets sharpened, and you know what I'm saying? So I did not, you said, how did it affect? It did not come to me until a month ago, after 50 years, that my husband sat down, my ex-husband, and told me how he felt in our marriage. And it had me go back to see where is that coming from? And I realized, being raised by someone that I was terrified all my life with. I mean, the life that I spent there with, the 10 years that I was there living in that house with my father and my stepmother, had hardened me, had me being Broomhilda in my adult life. Mm-hmm. And that was what I brought to the marriage, and the effect was that it shut him down. He's been married 4 or 5 times, trying to find his way, and he finally brought it to me.
Got it. Wow.
I know.
Yeah. And I don't say wow because what you said has me like, whoa, wait. My wow is, wow, you see it. Yeah. Wow, you're present to it. Wow, you're present to the impact, and wow, you're willing to work on it. Wow.
Definitely. Yeah.
Amazing.
And it took 50 years.
Yes. Hey. That's how it goes.
50 years.
And I invite you to consider that your trauma persona is like 50 years. 50 years. So you got it. You discovered it. For some, it's going to be 80 years. But take that out of it. It's just like, what if you just said it took 50 years, but you got it? Like, not like there's something wrong with how long it took for you to get there, because you're so amazing, Amal, that you were able to thrive, produce, manifest relationships, have children, raise a family inside of the wickedness of that witch, that is your trauma persona, right? And what do you want to acknowledge her for? What do you want to
Oh,
acknowledge her for?
you know what? For having my back when I didn't, when it was weak, when I thought it was weak,
Yes.
when I
Yes.
thought it was weak.
Yes. And
And another thing, I didn't realize that I had that kind of power to inflict on people around me. I did not know. I'm just trying to survive. And if something came up against me, whack, whack, you know what I'm saying? Verbally and in my persona. And didn't realize how I was affecting people. I think that's why I said it took 50 years, because I didn't realize the depth of who I was being then would affect anyone for that length of time.
yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah. Thank you for saying
that was
that.
50 years.
Yes. Thank you for saying that, because
Yeah.
we're talking now about impact. And somebody, and this is not to make anyone feel bad.
Yeah.
So if your trauma reaction out of those F's has you go into a place of, oh, I'm a terrible person, recognize her, shut him or her down.
Yeah.
This is not what this is about. I'm diving into this from a different lens: opportunity, possibility, gratitude. Like, I'm grateful for my beastly ass beast. That mother effer saved my life many days.
Many days.
Got me my promotions. Got me operating from a place of power and leadership that had people follow me places that actually served them. I am not mad at my beastly ass bees. Go ahead.
And also, because I'm doing this work and on this path, I was able to talk to him and say, you know what, this and this was so. And so as a result, that is why that was going on in our lives when we were in our 20s and 30s. But I said, you know what, we can push that to the back. I just want you to know I want the best for you, and I've got your back. And now we're closer than we were before, because even though it took that long, he was so shut down, he couldn't come to me with it. And if I would have been so defensive, it had to take this long, because I would have been defensive and it wouldn't have served anything.
Yeah.
But now we're just closer. We're more of a partner. He's calling and checking on me, and I just told him, I got your back, boo. I'm with you.
So your trauma persona had your back. Now that you have done the work and continue to do the work, because it will rear its head again.
Oh,
I'm part of you, right? It's part of you. Y'all hear me? It's part of you. Like, it serves, it's not all bad. Like, it has its great parts to it too. And we're not trying to dismiss what happened to you. The abuse, I'm not talking to you, Amal, per se, but maybe I am, the abuse, the neglect, the inequities, the unfairness. We're not trying to operate like that didn't happen. Yeah. What we're saying is you get to choose how you negotiate it. And your choosing may not come easy. You might need a therapist, or to be in a group, or to do some tapping, or some, I'm a psychodramatist. You may have to do that work to support you in leveling yourself off. It may take you to the grave, some of the outbursts and things like that, but at least you're aware. And I say your recovery time can be shortened because you're aware of what's happening. You're not just a feather in the wind, just being taken over at any turn and then just erupting, or going into retreat mode and shutting down and not allowing yourself to be responsible. So thank you, Amal, for this time together. I so appreciate you, so love you so much. What I was going to say to her, and I'll say this to others as well, and then I'm going to stop and let y'all read the chat from me, was that there's somebody or somebody's out there that have a trauma persona that they crafted because of things you've done to them. Y'all hear me? There's somebody that is out there operating from fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and remember they want to add forget. There's someone who's crafted a way of being shut down or silent. Like my daughter, I spoke about Jasmine earlier, that I know that her trauma persona is connected to how I negotiated raising her when I was young, how she was carried in my womb. I was angry, I was depressed. When I had her, I had severe postpartum depression. So her pre-verbal self was impacted by my trauma persona and my mental health challenge and issues, right? And then when she came out, when I was raising them when I was young, I was in my 20s, my trauma persona was raising those girls, her and her sister Shawnee. And so I know both of them had trauma personas that were connected to me and other things that happened to them. I'm not making myself wrong. I'm owning it. I'm owning it as a way of understanding, understanding, and opportunity and possibility. I'm offering you an opportunity to do this today. I'm not in here trying to reactivate your belly and make you feel bad and have you thinking about Uncle Bubba and, you know, grandma that beat you with the extension cord. That's not what we're focusing on today. We're focusing on your adult self getting to choose to not let your trauma persona run the show. That's what we're talking about. That is what we're talking about. So Teresa, I see your hand, but before we go to you, can we put back up the slide that has the questions about the impact of being in relationship with your trauma persona, that awesome trauma persona. We thank you all for being present in this space today. There are 43 technical physical bodies in this space, but there are really 86 of us, if you count our trauma personas, and I don't know how many people are on Facebook. So I thank you for that double dose of peopledom that we have in the space because of your trauma personas and their dopeness. How have the people in your life been robbed? Because this is robbed by trauma, by being in relationship with your trauma persona. How have they been robbed? By being in relationship with your trauma persona. So if you need an example, who can provide that? I don't know if Teresa, you were raising your hand probably to talk about what we were speaking about in the first two questions. If you're able to talk about how people have been robbed, perhaps your son,
Yes,
then I would love to hear from you. All right.
Yes, I feel like he's been robbed because he never really saw who I really was.
Mm-hmm.
So he was robbed in that way.
Yeah, and who's that?
I had to pretend to be somebody else because I never really spoke up for myself. And now when I speak up for myself, you know, I feel like I'm like I'm angry sometimes. With, you know, and so they get a different version of me now. And I'm not even used to who I am now because I just feel like I cannot just be quiet, but sometimes being quiet, sometimes when I do speak, I come out, you know, like that mean person because I'm just tired of just being quiet. Because what I would do when I did it, when I would go home and I would just eat up a lot. So that's how I gained so much weight. So I would take it out on myself. And so I had an incident this week where I felt like eating back again. Yeah. And so that's what I'm, you know, fighting right now. It's like, you cannot go back to that eating place, but I did. And so I'm fighting that this week. And it's been challenging because I didn't speak up, but that's what happened is that something happened this week and I really did not speak up. And so I didn't, and by you doing the thing on Monday, that's what I realized is that, wow, I was so angry because some really stuff happened that really wasn't good. And I thought I was being quiet. I thought being quiet was good for me, but it wasn't. I should have said what I said. So I got to figure out how to speak to the couple of people that, you know, the incident happened to without being like a raging, like want to cut them up, you know, like that with my words, because I can cut with my words and I do know that.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, love. Yeah. I want to say something to you because we've been rocking as sisters in this space for a year and a half. 2 years is quickly approaching, but I won't rush us. We're going to let our relationship continue to unfold so we can be like 2 years, right? But one of the things that I coach you around all the time is that I feel like how I sometimes get robbed by the relationship that I have with you when your trauma persona is present is that you're not fully listening to me. So I don't know about your son, but I know when you're in trauma persona mode that you talk and repeat. So I can imagine you letting loose verbally and then you saying what your position is. And I do this sometimes when I'm in my beastly ass beast mode, that I'll repeat the thing, but mine is like vicious venom. Like I'll say it in different ways, you know. So I want to know if you're aware, because you're my sister and I have a relationship with you, that I get robbed by trauma when you're not listening and you're talking when I'm talking and repeating something multiple times.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay. Who else gets robbed by that? You mentioned your son. Or is your son one of the persons that are on the receiving end of you talking and running your script?
Yes.
Okay. And then who else would you say you do that with?
A lot of people do, and I a lot of people do, and I have been like doing more listening lately than I ever did in my life. And so I think I know the reason why I might do it is because I wasn't allowed to speak when I was younger. So I feel like I have to get my point out because, they just not, I'm not gonna allow anyone to shut me down like I was shut down younger. So
Right.
it can, get in the way of me, hearing what a person is saying.
Yeah. And you know what, the healing balm for your trauma persona is allowing yourself to be silent and receive. Allowing, is it a her or a him or a they or them? I don't want to make assumptions about how it shows up for you. The trauma persona, does it have a gender? It may not.
I never thought about if it happened. I guess it's a her.
Yeah, mine is a him. Part of me made up that men have more power and authority. So my persona had to come in as masculine in order for me to survive, especially through my molestation. I'm like, no, this is what men do. They dominate in this way. So I have to counter that by being masculine in my way of being. And so I was going to ask you a question. Oh, I wanted to counter what you said about speaking up because you weren't allowed to speak as a child. I'm not saying that that's not true, but I also will say that it's a form of flight when you are not fully present in the space to hear what someone is saying and you're responding to whatever's in your head rather being in the actual conversation, listening for what the person is sharing so you know what to respond to. Your trauma response just has you going. You're not engaged with the other person. You're just over here with you talking and talking. And what you miss out on is an opportunity to actually get full resolve, explore what's actually happening with the person to see what you can respond or react to. If you're not there and if you're just spewing, then you miss the opportunity. You're just feeding your trauma persona garbage rather than nourishing it so that it can be fed and cared for and nurtured like it needs to. So do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Very much so.
Awesome. Thank you, beloved, for this share. So any shares, because we had 7:56, any shares from the Zoom chat or Facebook? I want to make sure we include our Facebook because I love y'all so much and I thank you for being present.
There are a lot of comments in the chat, but John Carl also had his hand raised if you want to bring his voice in briefly.
Okay, sure. And you said briefly. I'm
gonna take that last word back. That was me. I'm gonna take that word back.
It's okay. It's necessary because we got to reel this in. This is a 30-minute day, but I already said at the top, I didn't say it when folks came in later. So I apologize that I was going to go longer because Kinyofu told me, and she's right, that this is a series and it's a book. I talked to Coach Mika about that, or we were corresponding about that I need to write. And I will do that. I will do that because Spirit gave it to me and the download is for a purpose, right? So John Carl, if you're ready, unmute yourself. I love looking at your face. I love the background and the hat. So let's see you.
Good morning, Woo community.
Good morning.
In response to your question, because of course, like I've told you several times before, I'm always triggered. And it takes a lot of me to balance those triggers. I think it comes back to what I teach about balancing energy, but I'm mostly impacted in regards to my trauma. Yeah. And right before you told Teresa that you are impacted, I was thinking, you know what, my Woo community is impacted because I believe I have so much to offer, but because of my life, not knowing about all the challenges I've had, it causes me to hide. It causes me to withdraw my capabilities. It was part of my protection growing up when I felt like, okay, you don't respect me. I'm not getting that feedback, that love, and I would just close down. In addition to, the Woo community first, going backwards, because there's so many things I could create and bring to this community, but because of dealing with that trauma, it just doesn't come out. And then it goes to my family, my daughter. Being a leader and having these skills could create so much wealth and guidance and so much, but I hide it, and it just does not come out. One of the things I love about what you bring, Shawnee, is that you open us up. And I've said so many times, I love when you tell me about myself, because it's really about being better and being greater. And I know it's there, but that no face hooded trauma just keeps me shut down.
Ashe. So I'm going to challenge you on this one. You said I'm always triggered. Not
You're
true.
right. I'm not.
Not true. That I shut down, and I'm like, no, you are always expressing and nourishing and sharing love in the community. The admins get blessed so much by your ideas, by your complimentary. My love language is words of affirmation. You give that to me all the time. You just did it. You acknowledge me. You always do that. So I'm always nourished by you. When you first came into Woo, your trauma persona was running the show. And I was constantly interfacing with it. I don't know if you remember the first day I was checking you, like, bro, slow down. You were giving your analysis of what we were doing and how we were doing it. I don't know. Is it okay for me to talk about the smoke?
Let it all out, Shawnee. Let it all
You
out.
came in smoking a blunt. You were like, all right, I'm here to support y'all. What y'all got? I'm like, mofo, what? We don't smoke. We damn sure don't smoke cigarettes or weed in the wake up community. Like, this is a space of ascension and transformation, not judging. I know folks utilize herb, to support them on their development, but it didn't occur to me as that fully. And I know you use it for your health, but I'm like, that day we got your trauma persona. And I don't know if your persona, what is your fight, flight, freeze, or fawn?
Freeze, mostly freeze.
And I'm like, I don't know about that either. Your fight comes through your voice, like it's egoic. Not now, like you share your ideas is from a place of love and contribution. But when I first met you, there was something that you felt you had to prove. And I'm like, what is this? And I had to call it out because I'm like, if I don't say something now, this shit is just gonna grow, right? And you're gonna come in with a blunt this big and this is what I got for y'all. I'm like, nah, son, we are not doing that here. So I love watching your evolution. That person that I met in the beginning, if I got engaged fully with him, you wouldn't be here. Like, if I would have like allowed that to be the truth of who you were, I'm like, that's not him. Peel back, peel back, peel back. So anytime I got a chance to give feedback, I gave it from day one, and you received it and you adjusted and you adjusted. And here you are being your awesome, fully engaged, lit up self. I know the persona shows up, mine shows up too, right? We work each other's nerves, we do whatever we do, but I know you're my brother, you're my family, and I know you love me and I love you. And I'm never worried about your ego or your trauma persona crushing me. But back then, or trying to. Back then, it's like, oh, we're going to have to spar. And you and I sparring together while we're adminning, that takes away from the beauty of this space and the facilitators and all that other stuff. So thank you for doing your work, John Carl. Thank you. You are not always triggered. You hear? You are not always triggered. Not here, maybe out in the streets. And I even question that. When you're on your bike, when you're doing your things, like you're fully engaged and present to nature and yourself. So go ahead before we pivot.
I want to share real quick that on that particular day, I was going through trauma where this voice in my head, the back and forth, and you said it is in the DNA. And I've watched my trauma, the monster of my trauma play out in my father.
Got that.
And it's always a battle of not being like my father, which came from growing up. My mother, when she gets mad at me, you're just like your dad, you're just like your dad. So that was a tool I used not to embrace or become my father. And when I'm in my trauma, and I didn't think about this when I saw the question, but I hear my dad's voice.
I bet.
Yeah, I hear my father's voice. And you talk about molding who I am because of the impact of that trauma. And it's really all comes from my father. I did not make peace with it, and I'm still trying to make peace with it, but my father allowed me to make peace with it when he apologized for who he was and how he was with me, like a couple weeks, a month or so before he passed. Yeah. And whenever his energy comes up, I'm still dealing and battling with that. So I'm not always triggered, but I'm always dealing with that balance because I'm fighting through it, you know, trying
You hear
always
the
my
voice
best to
now?
release it.
Do you hear the voice now as we are conversing?
I kind of hear it, yes.
Got it. And I'm like, what is a counter voice? And I'm not asking you to answer it now because I don't want it to be like off the top of your head. I really want you to get grounded in this, that if you release the story is that he did this and he is creating this because you're now 50, right? So you're choosing to let his voice be like, John Call, or whatever he called you. You're letting it in. You're the creator of the persona, and it's not even fully him, right? There's the factual aspect of the dynamic of what he did and what he said, and now what's in your head is your facsimile of him. I hope you get what I'm saying, and the community too. What you hear is your facsimile of him in his trauma persona, him as the raging bull when he was really a man. Maybe he was diminutive. I don't know if he was short or tall or stout or thin, you know, but whatever you created, that trauma persona is what you're relating to as you process how your father showed up. Like you're dealing with his persona and it's in your head and you allow it to take seat and take over and dictate what you do or what you don't do. And I know that space. My trauma persona, even though it's a pit bull, it tells me don't look them in the eye. It tells me it's unsafe to be vulnerable. And my work is all about being present. So I'm like, no, you got to go sit over here. And I choose to hear it and not let it run the show. It's like, I hear you, but I'm not doing that today. So
more work. It's more work.
More work.
And I thank you for that little bit of guidance because just a little bit goes so far, so long because
indeed
I am completely looking to release this and be my awesome, amazing, brilliant self.
Yes.
So you always give me a little, and this is why I am committed. And I told you this from the minute you started speaking and sharing the knowledge and the guidance. I'm like, I'm committed to this, and I'm constantly committed. I love this family. Thank you so much.
And we love you. What I will say, we're going to do the trip on Saturday. Our group is going to do hot air ballooning. So I'm going to practice doing the opposite of what my trauma persona tells me when I'm with you and with Shawnee and with Ariane on Saturday. So I hope you're going to bring your muscle of not letting your dad. I'm not trying to be with your dad. I'm trying to be with John. So don't bring that motherfucker on the trip. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be up and out, up above the clouds with your dad. I'm sure he was a great person, but I want to be with you. And I want you to be with me, not Babs, my beastly ass beast. So I promise to do the work. Do you promise to do yours for Saturday?
I absolutely promise.
All right, awesome. I look forward to it. Thank you, love. Thank you. All right, it's 8:07. I am so out of integrity with y'all. I love y'all so much. So let's read some of the chat because I want to hear like what some of the Facebookers said and the Zoomers said, and then we can move to close out. I know I have more work to do with y'all. I got to come back. I already know that, y'all, and I got to write this book. So y'all hold me accountable. Tiff?
Yes. So Jackie responding to something Laura put in the chat says, when I get angry, I know that there's some truth in what I'm hearing. I always want to be the first to know about myself, but I realized that I was checked out and could not see myself. Others have had to show me. See if I can find Laura's comment. Here it goes. Laura says, my son always told me that I was not emotionally available in his life. I used to be angry when he told me this until I realized that it was the truth.
Wow. Thank you.
Scrolling. A lot of love and support for John Carl as he talked about his father showing up as part of his trauma persona.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for a Facebook comment. Here we go. Wendy from Facebook. She said, John, my brother, myself, about holding back my abilities, thinking that I'm not good enough. See if we find another Facebooker in here.
All right. So while you look, I wanted to share something that just came through for me. When I think about my beastly ass beast, which I love so much, thank you for the life you've given me. like so awesome, so awesome, giving me a powerful life and allowing me to lead and be courageous and say things that nobody else would say. Yeah, I'm so grateful for my beastly ass beast. And what I got as I was sharing with John Carl after we completed was that who pets my beastly ass beast is Maya Angelou, and she's so loving. Like, and I hear her voice as I'm talking to you right now. I can hear her voice saying, what's the poem? Oh my gosh. Phenomenal Woman.
Mhm.
And my beastly ass beast is like purring. It's a pit bull, but it's purring. It's like allowing for the strokes of its head. The heartbeat is slowing down because when he's in beast mode, the heart is pounding, almost like you can see it coming out of his chest. And so I hear her voice. What is the counter voice, the counter message for your trauma persona? For some of you who fawn, maybe it's I'm trying to think of somebody who is like hardcore. They're like, get up, don't count yourself out. Like, you can do this, say this, don't let them get away with this. I don't know what the counter is for you, but my beast don't need that. My beast needs the calm voice, the loving voice, the nourishment. And Maya Angelou also knew how to check you too. It needs all of that to keep moving forward from my true self. So Tiff, what you got? I heard you saying, mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm agreeing with you that some of these beasts need something that's counter, something calming, something soothing. But we do have Kaisha from Facebook saying that my trauma towards my children is anger. They feel bad about themselves due to my anger. And we had Wendy also again from Facebook adding that her trauma persona is sarcasm. So she uses sarcasm as a defense when her trauma persona shows up. Yeah. There are a lot of comments in here, a lot of conversation going back and forth as
very good
participants see themselves in similar responses to trauma with one another. So they're holding space and supporting each other in that. Yes.
Yeah. One of the questions I didn't get to, and I'm just putting this out in the community, is what have you gained by letting your trauma persona roam free? And when I mean gain, I don't mean like, it's like, what do you get out of it? What's the payoff? That's what I mean. Like, I've also gained great things. I just said that, but then gained from letting beastly ass beast, I gained keeping people at bay so I didn't have to let them see my weakness. So that's what I gained, like being able to hide my weakness. And I'm so chopping that up because people meet me, it's like, you cry? Oh, hell yeah. You're scared? Hell yeah, I am. So I try to name it, expose to expand, that's my mantra. And I'm like, I've taught people this, so now I have to undo this. Maya, come help me. Put your hand on my shoulder as I tell them this, as I do this, as I share with the community that I desire an intimate partnership and let that be known. It's like, you telling them that? Yes. Yeah. So what I gained was an opportunity to hide and pretend like I'm this beast all the time of leadership and guidance and support. It's like, no, sometimes I'm scared. Sometimes I'm in a fetal position. Sometimes I'm crying. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do next. Yeah, I am. All right, so the trauma persona, just putting this out there, serves as my protector. This is to you, but allows me to hide. However, has me on my toes, but keeps others at bay. However, it's always on my side, but lets me off the hook. However, like there's impacts, consequences to letting your trauma persona help you, so to speak. But then you end up losing in the end and getting robbed. So that I'm complete with regard to that. Thank you, family. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you so much. All right. Tiff, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. I just dropped the last of the questions that were in the slide. I know that my taskbar hid some of them from you. You weren't able to see it. And the part that Shawnee just went over with my trauma persona serves as my protector. So if anybody needs that, it was just recently dropped into the chat. You could go back and screenshot it or copy and paste it as we move forward. Thank you, everybody, for being patient with me and my tech issues this morning.
Mhm.
My trauma persona is like, you know what? It is what it is.
That may not serve. I don't know.
I know it's not serving, but that's who's showing up. And I'm trying to check her in the corner and be like, no, it is not. It is what it is. Shut up so I can get this done.
All right. Awesome. So we're preparing with the special offer. I'll start talking about it before Tiff puts it up, which is the upcoming Mother Wit Conference. It's a free complimentary offer. And I say it's special because it gives us an opportunity as those who have lived inside of a womb space of our mothers to be actually in a space where you can talk about, your birth story if you know it. You can talk about traditions in your family around, pregnancy for family members or when the babies come and negotiate that space. You can talk about your birth trauma. You can talk about what's been happening with Black and Brown people in reference to this reproductive health crisis that we're in. You can speak about the legacies. If you have a granny midwife in your family or somebody that always shows up and rubs the feet of the mama or cooks food, we can explore that and reclaim our traditions so that we can survive and thrive. So it's free, it's virtual, it's community oriented, it's healing. We have ritual, there's education involved, there's artistry involved, and inspiration. So register today and please do drop the link in. I see Shan in the space, who's my partner and my executive assistant. Love you so much, Shan. Thank you for dealing with my trauma persona every day. Just little bits and pieces. He's not there a lot, but definitely he shows up and just being gracious and loving towards me. So drop the link in so that they can register. I see you, Chantel. Ha! Yeah, drop the link in so they can register. Please do register. Even if you come for an hour or part of the day, we need you in the space, and I'm asking you as my community to join and participate. Please do. All right, let's move forward. And Tiff, is this on you or me?
I'm here. No, go ahead and share your contact information.
I'm trying not to let beastly ass beast take over everything. So my phone number is here. Use it if you need to. Text me. Today I'm in a full day training after this, so I may not be able to respond right away if you need to reach out. Facebook, Shawnee Benton Gibson. You find me there. Instagram at Shawnee the Healer. Find me there. And then you can email soulleadershipdevelopment@gmail.com if you have something to share, including other facilitators for the space or other ideas. Please do. My love, Mama Mao is going to be joining us tomorrow, leading a conversation that is powerful and necessary. It's all about the chakras. Yes, it is. And our chakras are out of alignment when our trauma personas are running the show. So Mama Mao, we will be there. We will be with you, and we are going to get our chakras right. So thank you for this. Welcome to anybody who was new today. If you were new, drop it in the chat if you're still with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes to whomever invited you. Thank you for gracing us with your presence and participation today. So if you're new, just drop it in. Say, hey, today's my first day. That's on Facebook and in the Zoom space. So this community is committed to learning, elevating, and ascending. So come on back. Don't hit it and quit it, so we can continue to do that with you as our partner. Tiff, am I doing the most?
Yep, and one, got you. This is the Wake Up Everybody schedule. We are live virtually in Zoom and Facebook space 5 days a week. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are our longer sessions from 7 to 8:30. Mondays and Wednesdays are shorter sessions from 7 to 7:30. And if you would like notification when it's time to hop on and join us, no need, text that number 74121, put in the word Woo Nation in the comment, and we will send you notification when it's time to join us with the link so you can hop on the space with us. Have you ordered your Woo swag yet? Are you repping the nation out there in the world? Get your face masks, your water bottles, your t-shirts and sweatshirts now that fall weather has hit, your coffee mugs so that you can warm your insides and your outsides. Shop us at bit.ly/WooSwag. Thank you, everybody. This is how you stay in touch with us. Register at bit.ly/wakeupmovement. Follow us on Facebook at bit.ly/Woo Community, on Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual, on YouTube, bit.ly/Woo on YouTube. And again, as Shawnee said, you can always email us at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. Let us know what ideas you're looking for facilitation, lessons you want to learn. Come on and support us. We are all ready to have you join us. I'm going to stop the screen shares. Time to give Shawnee all that love and praise for this morning. Come off mute, everybody, and rain on her that love. Thank you, Shawnee. And
Thank
the
you, Shawnee, for the
Shawnee.
great work.
Thank you.
Beautiful
Shawnee.
morning.
Blessings
Thank
to
you,
you.
Shawnee.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
Thank you, Shawnee.
Have a good
Love
night.
Love you.
you,
Thank
Queen.
you so
For your
much.
honesty
Really
and your
appreciate
fierceness
Come on up
for
in here.
our community. We love you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Shawnee.
Continue on
You're
showing love.
beautiful. Love you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the
Line.
healing.
Mother Shawnee, that's who you are.
Yes, Mother
You are a
Shawnee. God
mother
bless
to
you.
me, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you for being so vulnerable and showing
Love
us the
y'all.
way.
Love y'all.
God bless you for all those on
Everyone
this
that
call
shared,
and
I
all
love
those who
you.
can hear and all those who been
Love
connected and
everyone.
loved.
Yeah.
Thank you for your wisdom and your words and your encouragement.
Thank you for who,
Thank
Shawnee.
you.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
amazing
So much.
nurturing.
Thank you.
Hey,
Loving each and every one of you. I just love y'all so much. Peace and blessing. Thank you.
Thank you for the beastly growl. Love it. Bye, y'all.
Bye.